The movie starts with a girl named Becky. Becky is now 16 and has run away from 3 foster homes. She has tried hard to stay hidden and was doing fine on her own until Elena found her hitchhiking a year ago. Becky doesn't know much about Elena because they rarely talk about their pasts, but they like each other's company and get along well. Becky hasn't been able to sleep at night since her mother died of illness and her father passed away. Becky works at a diner. Today, a customer calls her sweetheart, which annoys her. She tells him she has a name. The customer then complains about not having butter on his toast, which makes Becky very angry. She imagines slicing his throat, but she doesn't actually do it. She just really wanted to. When her shift ends at 3 p.m., she leaves right away. At home, Becky and Elena play Scrabble. For the first time in a year, Becky wonders why Elena never asked about her past and simply took her in. Elena then shares her own struggles, explaining how she became homeless at 15 and did whatever she needed to survive. She feels connected to Becky because of their similar experiences. She also catches Becky trying to cheat in the game. Meanwhile, the radio announces that a group called the Noblemen will be holding a rally at the town hall. They are known for being violent. While Becky is working at the diner again, 3 men come in and make fun of her name, ending with a joke about her mom, but it doesn't bother her at all. Becky has had a vivid imagination for the past few years, but this time, as she serves coffee to the rude customers, it's not just in her head. With a smug smile, she walks away after accidentally burning one of them. At 3 p.m., her shift ends, but the noblemen are angry about her attitude and decide to follow her. In the evening, while she keeps an eye on her mysterious key, Becky hears glass breaking. She quickly hides the key and goes to check. As she looks around the empty house, everything seems normal until Anthony attacks her from behind. She manages to escape his grip and tells Diego to defend her, but DJ overpowers him and points a gun at Becky. Just then, the third guy, Sean, arrives and comments on the unexpected situation. After Becky broke Anthony's nose, he is determined to kill her. Suddenly, Elena steps in with a shotgun, but Anthony has no intention of making peace and shoots her in the head. Angry, Becky attacks Anthony, but he knocks her out. Becky wakes up the next morning and sees Elena's dead body, reminding her of her father. To make things worse, Diego is missing. At a lake house, Anthony makes everyone promise not to talk about what happened. After the rally tomorrow, they plan to leave town. Meanwhile, Becky finds Elena's jewelry box filled with memories. She realizes she never really knew Elena but had grown to love her. Becky feels like everyone she has ever loved has been taken from her. After burying Elena, she promises to get her dog back and kill the people who killed Elena. From the shed, she gathers all the supplies she needs, including bear spray and a few traps she set outside. Becky's combat clothes will finally be useful. When Becky heard the noblemen talking in the diner, she remembers they mentioned someone named Daryl. There are only 2 Daryls in town, and this is the first one. It's clear he isn't the one they were talking about. The second one lives on Colony Road, and she feels this is the one she's looking for. Inside, Daryl is saying a prayer before eating the meal prepared by Twig. Twig is a well-known misogynist, but the group laughs off his comments. Daryl notices Sean is acting strange, not eating his food, and wonders why their dog is locked in a cage, but he believes they're weak excuses. Becky can barely hold herself back as they laugh at Diego. She finds an unlocked window and silently climbs in, finding a mannequin with Senator Hernandez's name on it. She finds the round table filled with plans to kill the senator and takes pictures. Meanwhile, Sean excuses himself and goes to vomit. The events from yesterday really weigh heavily on him. Daryl confronts him as he leaves the bathroom and invites him to show him something. Daryl brings him to the office where Becky is and asks him basic questions, such as when he joined the noblemen, explaining how important Sean is to their cause. Meanwhile, Becky is under the sofa listening in. Daryl shows Sean some incredible information he has on a thumb drive, explaining how many noblemen are out there. He starts to tell Sean a story about his time serving in Iraq, recounting the harrowing experience of having to suffocate his own comrade to ensure their survival. His squad kept silent about it, believing it was for the greater good. Daryl attributes this story to the current actions of the noblemen, emphasizing the importance of teamwork and the necessity to eliminate weak links. He subtly questions whether Sean might be considered such a weak link. Barely maintaining his composure, Sean swears that he's all in for the noblemen. That's the answer Daryl wanted to hear. After Sean leaves, Daryl notices the open window. After closing it, he feels that something is amiss. Anthony calls him from the kitchen, prompting him to leave. Becky seizes the opportunity to investigate further. Upon examining the information on the thumb drive, she discovers thousands of people who are followers of the noblemen. It's at that moment she resolves to take action and rid the world of everyone on that list. Snatching the drive, she runs to the barn, arming herself with a sickle. Okay, forget the sickle. Upstairs she finds a whole armory filled with all her heart could desire. As the men inside toast to freedom, a doorbell catches their attention. Stepping outside, Daryl doesn't see anyone, but he notices a phone ringing on his doorstep. Walking back inside, he tells the others that someone named Becky is calling him. Sean immediately sells the group out, but DJ and Anthony still try to cover it up, explaining that they stole her dog, nothing more. Daryl picks up the call, listening as Becky shares an unsettling tale about being their worst nightmare. DJ finds it amusing, but tension grips the room. An argument ensues about the authenticity of Becky's message, but Daryl quickly silences everyone, demanding they return Diego to her. Though Anthony agrees, Daryl senses there's more to the situation than meets the eye. Outside, Anthony calls out to her, and Becky lets him know where she is. She leads him deeper in the woods until he holds her at gunpoint. Anthony doesn't want Daryl to hear the gunshot, opting to kill her silently, and falls for one of Becky's traps. Becky then picks up his gun, but she doesn't want others to hear the gunshot either. Inside, the guys are enjoying some music, unaware of Becky's stealthy approach. Using duct tape and a red string, she devises a makeshift trap, knocking on the door. When Daryl opens it, the string removes the pin from the grenade, resulting in Anthony's head going boom. The group suddenly comes to terms with the seriousness of the situation. They rush inside and assess their options. Twig's suggestion to call the cops is swiftly dismissed. Daryl grabs a gun and demands that Sean and DJ start talking. Sean explains that they killed Elena and stole the girl's dog, which Daryl finds unbelievable. That a little girl is capable of this. Still, what catches Sean's attention is the use of the word insurrection. Sean believed it was just a rally, not a shootout against the government. Sean has had enough lies and deception. He's out. Daryl puts down the gun and attempts to convince Sean to stay the night. Maybe he will reconsider, but this only sends him into a tantrum, which prompts Daryl to shut him up for good. Without hesitation, DJ swears that he's 100% a follower of the noble men cause and is tasked with moving the body. Suddenly, the phone rings. Becky has her eyes on the house. Daryl still suggests they can resolve things peacefully, but they are way past that. As Becky aims the crossbow at the house, she explains that she has all the evidence against Daryl and his little scheme on her phone, suggesting they keep her dog fed. Twig has had enough. He grabs the shotgun and goes outside. Daryl swears to kill Becky, but then she notes he would never find the thumb drive she stole. Also, his friend on the dock could use some help. Becky pierces him with an arrow. Inside, while Twig is whining, DJ gets on the ground and Daryl removes the arrow. Twig furiously goes out to search for Becky, but she lets them know where she is. She swiftly starts running away to the barn, and Twig is right behind her. Back at the house, Daryl's fury intensifies as he commands DJ to bring Becky to him alive. She possesses the thumb drive. DJ promises to do so, but the moment he's released, he dashes to the car and speeds away. Meanwhile, at the barn, Twig believes he has Becky cornered, but she surprises him by hurling a smoke grenade, throwing him into disarray. As Twig frantically fires off rounds, he runs out of ammo. Twig crawls out of the barn with Becky right behind him, menacingly approaching him. That is, she wishes she could but couldn't find the keys. Instead, she emerges wielding a machete, about to strike him down. Twig pleads for his life, revealing he has a wife and a child and doesn't harbor genuine hate towards women. Becky hesitates until she learns that the child's name is Adolf. She just cuts him down. Suddenly, Becky's shot with a tranquilizer and passes out. Becky wakes up the next day and struggles to get out of her bindings, but it's useless. Daryl is an actual Boy Scout. Daryl found her backpack, mentioning that she came prepared, and he also found Becky's key. In a short moment, he figured out the puzzle behind it, the coordinates. That's when Daryl introduces the mastermind behind the noblemen. Someone Becky has already met, his mother, Daryl. All Daryl wants to know is where the thumb drive is, but Becky acknowledges that this information is the only reason she's still alive. Daryl tells Becky she has a better chance of surviving if she gives up the location of the drive. If not, she will lose her patience. Becky responds by spitting in Daryl's face. Daryl tries to recruit Becky to their cause, but she refuses. Then Daryl tells his son to use Diego. Daryl squeezing Diego's head makes Becky struggle more, but she finally agrees to reveal the location of the drive with one condition. As Daryl puts Diego back in the cage, Becky wants them to promise to go to hell after she kills them. Becky has freed herself. She kicks Daryl away and sprays him with bear spray, making him run away. Daryl's mom grabs a gun and holds Becky at gunpoint. Becky knows they need her alive, so the mom turns to Diego, prompting Becky to throw a knife and kill her. Becky runs out just as Daryl returns. Seeing his mother dead, Daryl is done with games. Becky runs through the field and woods with Daryl not far behind, shooting at her but missing every shot until he runs out of ammo. Seeing the X marks the tree, Becky jumps and turns to Daryl, who steps into a bear trap 3 times. Daryl's last words to Becky are "well done" before he dies from his injuries. Becky takes her father's key and rushes to free Diego from the cage, finally reuniting with him. But Daryl, though badly injured by a knife, doesn't give up easily. Becky sends Diego to deal with him. 24 hours later, Becky is at the CIA office. A woman there explains that the drive Becky gave them has the names of members of a dangerous terrorist organization in the U.S. She praises Becky for taking down the leader on her own, and offers her a job with the CIA. She also reveals what her father's key unlocks. Meanwhile, DJ is having car trouble on the side of the road when a police car approaches. He grabs his gun but sees in his mirror that it's Becky holding a bazooka. She blows him away, feeling smug. The end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next video.